Have you seen Star Wars?
At long last, 2020 is finally over. It was perhaps one of the longest years of all of our lives, and probably one of the hardest too. But in the realm of Star Wars, I have to say, 2020 actually was not bad. Some can say it was actually a very good year for Star Wars fans. Well, let's take a look first and discuss 2020 for us Star Wars fans. So we started off the year right after the release of Rise of Skywalker in December of 2019, but in January of 2020, we actually got to see a glimpse at the alternate reality of Episode 9. The original version of Episode 9 was called Duel of the Fates, directed and co-written by Colin Trevorrow, and the script for the movie leaked and all of the concept art leaked as well. So in a rare moment, we actually got to see what a scrapped version of a Star Wars story would have looked like, mainly a movie, and I think a lot of us found some closure in that. For me, it felt nice to finally see what could have been. Some people liked this version of Episode 9 better than The Rise of Skywalker, and some people didn't, but it still was a nice kind of conclusion to that whole sequel debacle in terms of production and what went on with all of that. And shortly later, that same month in January of 2020, The Hollywood Reporter came out with a report saying that Taika Waititi would be directing and writing his own Star Wars movie. And then they also said something about J.D. Dillard, who's also going to write and direct a Star Wars movie. But we haven't heard anything about that all year, so who knows where that stands and if it's actually going to happen. But one of the big announcements that we had at the beginning of the year was the announcement of a new era in Star Wars, and that is the High Republic era. It's set 200 years before The Phantom Menace, and it will start to explore this new era with books, and there's going to be comics, and eventually shows, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this is a brand new era in the Star Wars universe that we're actually starting in 2021, but they announced in 2020. And the first actual new content that we had of 2020 was Clone Wars Season 7. It started in February and it lasted all the way up to, I think, May 4th on the dot. Season 7 introduced us to the Bad Batch. It showed us the epic finale to the Clone Wars series, and that was the Siege of Mandalore. And it was a grand ending to this amazing show that has been pretty much a big pillar in the Star Wars fandom on keeping content going and keeping the fandom alive and the stories continuing in the Star Wars universe. I think a lot of Star Wars fans, like myself, were actually really pleased with how this series ended. I feel like February and May, it feels so long ago because 2020 was such a long year. But this was one of the peaks of the year for us Star Wars fans. I mean, Season 7 did really well. Around a month after Season 7 of the Clone Wars ended, we had a big announcement from EA. They revealed their new Star Wars game, which was Star Wars Squadrons. And it was kind of a surprise game since it was only $40, and it was a very small-scale game that was called a passion project by EA. I won't say this created a lot of noise in the Star Wars community or the gaming community, but it was big news for that part of the year. Lucasfilm also confirmed that a Bad Batch series was happening and coming to us in the year 2021, which was unexpected, but wouldn't say it made big news in the fandom. People were excited for it. In July, we had a lot of news that upset a lot of people, which was we delayed every single Star Wars film by 1 year exactly. They were all supposed to come out in 2022, 2024, 2026. Now it's 2023, 2025, and 2027. All of those being in December. We also delayed the Lego Star Wars game, which is coming in 2021 now instead of what it was originally supposed to do, which was, I think, December or November of 2020. And one of the biggest ones was a canceled Star Wars Celebration because of the coronavirus. So, Star Wars, like many other properties, had a pretty big impact from the pandemic in 2020, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal anymore. I think we've all kind of moved on from that. Then we confirmed that Darth Maul was returning to live action in the future. There's a lot of projects that he's supposed to be in. And then the actor Ray Park got himself into a huge scandal by posting a very, very sexual content post on his Instagram page. You guys remember that week? Jeez, what a rough week. That was not a good one. But the year went on, and we got to the good part, which was October. From October onward, I think the year ended up really, really good. We got Star Wars Squadrons in October, and I thought it was not the greatest Star Wars game of all time, but it did its job of bringing a new game fans can play online against other fans. I don't see it being very popular for years to come, kind of like Battlefront 2 was, but some people did get a lot of enjoyment out of the campaign and multiplayer. So I have to say, Squadrons, though it's not the greatest Star Wars game, It was one of the highlights for 2020. It was still a brand new Star Wars game that was unexpected, a cheap price. I feel like it was a very good bargain for what we got. Then, of course, we get into the main event of 2020 for Star Wars fans, and that is Mandalorian Season 2. I mean, talk about something that truly probably saved 2020. This thing delivered on all fronts. It's the first time I really remember probably over 95% of the Star Wars fan base agreeing that we like a new piece of Star Wars content. Season 2 started off with a bang, and it honestly did not miss a single beat all season. There may have been an episode or two that some did not love, but for the most part, every weekend it felt like us Star Wars fans were raving over the latest episode of The Mandalorian, and it felt really good, and it was pretty uplifting. Some people would wake up Friday at 3 a.m. to watch the new episode, and that definitely was me. A bunch of us Star Wars YouTubers would rush to review it on Friday, but over the weekend we would all discuss it. Monday we would kind of lift the spoilers ban, and it just felt like a very good camaraderie throughout the Star Wars fandom over this one season and this one show, and I really liked it. It was a good time to be a Star Wars fan, and it ended in one of the most dramatic fashions ever. It brought tears of joy to us all. I cannot stress enough how much it seems like Mandalorian really saved 2020 for the Star Wars fandom. It was very fun, and it gave me a lot of hope for the future of Star Wars, seeing so many people being enthusiastic about new content and just very positive all around. We also got a new holiday special this year that was in the Lego form, so it was geared towards a younger audience, but it still was a cute little addition to the Star Wars community in a time where I think a lot of us needed some lightheartedness and warmth in our lives. I like the holiday special for what it was. I think it was a good year to release it. And then to close out the year, Lucasfilm announced 10 new Star Wars projects. A new movie coming in 2023 called Rogue Squadrons, directed by Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins. Then we got announcements for Rangers of the Republic, a Lando series, The Acolyte, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka, and a few others. And then of course we got the Boba Fett series coming out this year in 2021. It's a lot of new Star Wars shows and projects and a new content that I feel like every type of Star Wars fan could have something to look forward to in the future of this franchise. I try to make these videos every year, and I remember having a lot of content in 2017. You know, you had like Battlefront 2, you had The Last Jedi, and I think Rebels was still a thing then. But I remember feeling disappointed, if not upset, with most of the stuff we had in 2017. 2018, oh boy, that was one of the worst years in Star Wars history, at least in recent memory. And in 2019, it seemed like things started to turn around things for me. I mean, I really enjoyed 2019, even though I did not like the movie that came out that year. I felt like it was a very good year. But 2020? Man, that felt like a good year. We didn't have a movie in 2020 for Star Wars, but I cannot say I was disappointed in anything. I mean, the Clone Wars Season 7 may not have been my favorite season, but the Siege of Mandalore, that arc was beautiful. It felt like a movie, but in animation. The Mandalorian Season 2 showed me that Season 1 wasn't a one-hit wonder, and Season 2 actually did better in story than Season 1 did, and I think that's very impressive. It showed me that Star Wars has a future in live-action storytelling that isn't just on the big screen. And with all the announcements for future projects and future shows, it seems like the franchise may have finally found its footing, and it means we have a very bright future ahead of us. 2020 was a great year for Star Wars, and a great year for Star Wars fans. And the greatest part is, it doesn't seem like 2021 is going to be any worse. But tell me your thoughts below. Did Star Wars have a good 2020? What was your favorite Star Wars moment of the year? And what are you looking forward to the most in 2021? Happy New Year's to everybody. No, 2020 was rough, but we made it. It's over. Let's focus on a better and brighter future. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, or subscribe, because it does help out the channel. On Star Wars Only, I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you, always.